Rogers Center tonight. Take a look at the lineup for the New York Mets. They're struggling a bit. Won 5 games in the month of June. Asdrubal Cabrera, their fine second baseman, swinging the bat well, hitting .339 in his last 13 games. And Wilmer Flores, he's got a 9-game hit streak. He has not struck out in his last 24 plate appearances, and he has reached base in all 16 games since coming off the DL.
Mets have really struggled to score runs, so Marco Estrada will get ready for his 17th start of the season. He's coming off a game against the Houston Astros where he got a no decision. The first inning was really a stumbling block for him. An error, a stolen base, a walk, and Evan Gattis were the problems in that one. He threw 31 pitches in the first inning. Couldn't recover from that. All told, he threw 5 innings, 3 earned runs given up. He will get the chance now to finally beat the Mets. He's never beaten the Mets in all of his starts.
Jose Bautista will bat second in this lineup tonight. He came to the Blue Jays in 2008, became an everyday player in 2009, and was a 6-time All-Star. First pitch from Estrada is in there for a strike, and we are underway. 26 degrees, very comfortable evening. The roof is wide open here at Rogers Center. All 3 day games over the weekend were played with the roof closed with the oppressive heat outside. That's a bunt up the third baseline, but it's going to go foul.
Blue Jays are playing in the shift with Nimmo at the plate with just 1 defender on the left side. He picks up on that. Marco throws a lot of changeups. That's a good pitch for him to try and bunt on.
Nimmo's really had a tough stretch. He got hit by a pitch from Rich Hill in his pinky finger, and since that hit by pitch, he's 1 for 18. So that was probably a little bit of his thoughts behind that bunt attempt. Now you see Gurriel, the lone defender, on the left side of the infield. 0-2.
Look at the knob of the bat also, Buck. I'm sure that has something to do with the finger. A little extra padding down there. So when he takes a swing and rolls that hand over, there's not a lot of pressure.
Great changeup. One away.
Right fielder, number 11, Jose Bautista.
Jose's got to feel a little bit more at home. They played his walk-up music they used to play here at Rogers Center, Usher. And they rarely play walk-up music for visiting players, but this is a special visiting player. Of course, Bautista knows Estrada very well. He knows he's going to get a fair dose of change-ups tonight.
And Buck, we've watched him for almost 10 years in this ballpark in a Blue Jay uniform, and he always seems to do something dramatic. So I'm not going to be shocked if he does something tonight.
Well, of course, there have been so many great moments, including his 54 home run season, the dramatic bat flip in the 5th game of the ALCS against the Texas Rangers. You lose that game, you go home.
You wouldn't let him loose. And there's Jose Bautista. He's got a .373 on base percentage with the Mets. He says, I'm going to take my walks. I'm going to try and get on base. I'm hitting second in this lineup. And we've seen that a few times.
It's always been part of his game. He never chased many bad pitches, despite the fact he was always a threat to hit a homer. Here's Asdrubal Cabrera over his last 13 games, batting .339. Hitting .280 for the season. Fly ball deep to right. Grichuk out the wall at the track. This one is gone. Cabrera with his second hit off of Estrada, and both of his hits have been home runs. He's now 2 for 9.
Marco has pitched 7 times against the Mets in his career. He hasn't beaten them. Trying to beat him for the first time. He's pitched 17 or third innings. He's given up 13 hits. You walk Bautista, and all of a sudden you got a runner at first base, and Cabrera, who's probably going to be their all-star selection, didn't waste any time picking on that first pitch.
Asdrubal Cabrera, home run number 15 for him this season.
You mentioned that he has been hot. There's Jose telling him, what kind of pitch was that? Looked like a changeup out over the plate, and he stayed back on it, was able to hook that ball, even though it was down and away. And here comes John Gibbons.
This is not good. Estrada has had a history of back issues, and he has been relatively healthy this season, but Nicky Huffman, the trainer, out to talk to Marco, and obviously for them to react this quickly, they were aware of this situation before he started tonight.
Yeah, this reminds me of the Aaron Sanchez start out in Anaheim. They knew going in he had some finger problems. He tried to get through the first inning. He did, but then they took him out, and they're going to take Marco out of this game.
Yeah, you can see he's walking very gingerly, and he has dealt with back issues the last couple of seasons. And for the most part, he's been able to pitch through them, but that's not the case tonight. Unfortunate news for Estrada and for the Blue Jays. Out of the game with just 1 out, and while they make up their minds, we'll take a break.
presented by the 2018 Honda Civic Type R, like no Honda you've ever seen.
Well, an unfortunate bit of news for John Gibbons, Pete Walker, and the rest of the coaching staff as their starter, Marco Estrada. Through 12 pitches, this is in the first at bat to Brandon Nimmo.
Watch him after he delivers that pitch. Just takes a deep breath right there. Maybe something's there. And this is the strikeout, and he comes off the mound. You can tell he's favoring something. Tries to get the deep breath again, and then just before the home run, you can see him trying to stretch out that lower back, winces just a little bit, and that is really unfortunate for the Blue Jays and Marco. So he is done for the night. Jake Petrichka will take over. 10 games for Petrichka, just called back up to the big league club just a few days ago. 10 games this season for Petrichka. He did pitch against the Mets. That was back on May the 15th. An inning. He was charged with 3 runs on 6 hits against New York in that game.
So Petrichka are going to be the first of a team of relievers that are going to work here tonight. Michael Conforto goes after the first pitch and goes around too far. That's a strikeout, of course, because Estrada had to leave. So that's 2 outs now. That strikeout will be credited to Petrichka. Wilmer Flores, we had mentioned Flores just coming off the DL. He was on the DL with back issues, but since he's come off, he's reached base in all 16 games he's appeared in. And he's got a streak of 24 consecutive plate appearances without striking out. In this day and age, that's like a month's worth.
He's been good and tough on the Blue Jays in the little amount that they have faced him in interleague play. Remember, he had a game-winning hit a few years ago against them.
Ground ball. Gurriel's at short tonight. He throws across the diamond. The inning is over. Jose Bautista in his return to Rogers Center gets a nice ovation. Acknowledges the crowd. He played 10 years for these fans in Toronto. Field here at Rogers Center. He made 597 starts as a Blue Jay in right at Rogers Center. And he's back in familiar digs out there in right. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Blue Jays. They're quickly down 2-0. And there's Solarte, over his last 12 home games, is hitting .340. And he's done damage. 3 doubles, 3 home runs, and 8 RBIs, and down in the number 9 spot. Devin Travis has enjoyed National League pitching this season. He's 9 for 21 with 3 doubles, 2 home runs, and 6 RBIs. A gorgeous evening as Zack Wheeler is set to face the Blue Jays.
16th start of the season for Wheeler. He's got a 2-6 record, but they can't score many runs last time out. 7 innings, didn't give up any runs, still got a no decision. The Blue Jays saw him back in May in the first 10 batters he faced against the Blue Jays. He struck out 6 of them. And then the roof caved in.
Wheeler will throw you a lot of fastballs, and he works quickly. He has been the subject of a lot of trade rumors in New York. The Mets have some interesting pitchers. Anderson, a former Met himself, hits it in the air to left field. Long run for Conforto. He gets there, worn out. Let's take a look at the rest of the defense. Conforto's in left, Nimmo's in center, and that familiar face out there in right field is Jose Bautista.
Yeah, we have to highlight Jose in his first game back here in Toronto in his familiar position in right field. And there's his scouting report taking a look. If anybody's on the field who doesn't need a scouting report, it's that guy right there. He looked out of place at third base earlier this season when he was with the Atlanta Braves. This looks like Jose Bautista in right field that we saw for so many years.
So many of these younger fans grew up watching Bautista for 10 years. He was a 6-time All-Star. He led the American League in home runs in consecutive seasons, and he set a franchise record with 54 home runs. Off the end of the bat, Wheeler quickly to first in time. 2 quick outs.
Wheeler's got some impressive stuff. He's got one of the hardest fastballs in the month of June, miles per hour wise, velo wise in June. He was averaging about 96 miles an hour on his fastball in the month, but he just didn't have anything to show for it. Here's the numbers I was talking about. He started off really hot against the Blue Jays, but then the roof caved in. 6 earned runs. The guy who really was responsible for a lot of that damage was Justin Smoke.
This is Yanira Solarte. Smoke had a first inning home run and a 2-run double against Wheeler. Solarte in that ball game back on May 16th was batting 5th in the lineup. He went around. Don't you love pitchers that throw fastballs and work quickly? We saw that with Mike Fiers.
Absolutely. 4 seamers. There is the shift. And that StatCast is powered by AWS. Showing you that they're going to be playing him to pull.
Playing him to pull, pitching him away. Doesn't make much sense. He can't pull that. 98. Solarte's 1 for 3 against Zack Wheeler. Over his last 12 home games, he's hit .340. He wouldn't chase that hard cutter. So Martin Devin Travis engaged in a animated conversation. Turn that ball over. Good sink on that fastball.
He's got some movement on those pitches. That game against the Blue Jays where he struck out 6 of the first 10 batters he faced, he was dotting it with his fastball.
There's a ball pulled, and that'll do it. So Zack Wheeler has a 1-2-3 bottom of the first. The Mets have an early 2-0 lead. to over 450 partner destinations around the globe. Join today at westjet.com/rewards. One of the most popular destinations at Rogers Center, without question, the WestJet flight deck out in center field. Here's Todd Frazier. Frazier, originally with the Cincinnati Reds, spent some time with the Yankees, and now he is with the Mets.
He's a pro. He can lift that ball out of the ballpark with the best of them. Just 9 home runs this season in 56 games. He's a home run hitting contest winner at around the All-Star break in Cincinnati a few years ago.
Frazier is a New Jersey native, so he's very comfortable back in the Big Apple, this time with the Mets. Jake Petrichka came into the game and got the final 2 outs to close out the Mets in the top of the first.
Jake last worked on Canada Day a couple of days ago, so you figure he finishes the first, pitches the second. This is where you could really use a long man, a true long man who can give you 5, maybe even 6 innings if he's economical to get you to the back end of the game.
Off the end of the bat, Gurriel to his left, gathers it, fires high. Smoke comes off the bag, and he tags Frazier before he could get back to first base. Gurriel's throw was inside. Smoke had to come off the bag, but he made a heads-up play as he tagged Frazier.
Gurriel got under that throw just a little bit. It's a routine play, and his momentum is taking him over to first base. But watch how his arm gets underneath it. His hand gets underneath it, and that takes the off the bag. But Smoke with a heads-up play. That ball takes off the heads-up play, and on the second time, catches him before he gets to the bag.
Well, Gurriel's been working hard on his throwing, both at shortstop and at second base, but he got some help that time by Smoke.
Yeah, the minor leaguers, they all have throwing programs. You throw from different angles, the arm angles, and Smoke has saved so many errors this year with his great play over at first base. But the minor leaguers, they've got their throwing programs, and Gurriel's on a throwing program himself, to be a little bit more consistent and get that arm in the right slot so he can make accurate throws even on the routine ball.
Well, and Gurriel going back and forth from second to short, it's a different throw. There's no question about it.
That's right.
Gurriel's making his 8th start at shortstop tonight. That ball is down the right side, and it's a fair ball. And it'll bounce into the corner. Grichuk in there to dig it out, and Dominic Smith will have his 4th double of the season.
Dominic Smith is one of their highly rated prospects, young players, and he shows you why. Looked like a changeup, some type of off-speed pitch from Petrichka, and that is a tough pitch to a lefty. You got to get that thing down off the plate, or this is going to happen. Rips it into the corner for extra bases.
A 1-out double. Now Devin Mesoraco. He has spent time this season with the Reds, now with the Mets. Mesoraco for the season batting .223. 6 doubles, 7 home runs, and 19 RBI.
They were trying to get anything for Matt Harvey. Anything, the Mets.
This ball is smoked. This is going to be a 2-run home run for Mesoraco. Second 2-run homer of the ball game for the Mets, and it is a quick 4-0 lead for the New Yorkers.
And before I could get it out of my mouth that they got a pretty good player for Matt Harvey, they were looking for anything. They got an everyday catcher. Hit a home run against the Blue Jays when we were in New York at Citi Field, and he's got another one. Devin Mesoraco, when he's healthy, he's got some pop. Watch Petrichka. He knew that that one was not coming back. Didn't even look at it. Mesoraco, he's got some pop. He's been battling some injuries over the last couple of years, but when he's healthy, he's a power hitting type of catcher.
At 24 home runs with the Reds in 2014, his all-star season. Ahmed Rosario bounces it to third. Solarte throws him out. So Mesoraco was an all-star in 2014. He had that career season, 25 homers and 80 RBIs. So it's in there. He's just got to stay healthy.
He has to stay healthy. He's been battling some really tough problems and some career-threatening type of injuries to his hips.
Yeah, very difficult injuries for catchers.
Catchers, right.
Russ Martin went through similar injury early in his career. Took him a while to get over. 2 outs now. Back to the top of the order. Brandon Nimmo was a strikeout victim at the hands of Marco Estrada. Only out Estrada recorded. Then he walked Jose Bautista, and Asdrubal Cabrera hit a home run.
The Mets have had their share of injuries this year. Man, there was some thought that with their pitching staff that they would be in contention in the National League East. But Yoenis Cespedes, he's barely played this year. Jay Bruce is on the disabled list. They got off to a great start. Mickey Callaway's rookie season as the manager.
They started out 12-2, but it's been downhill ever since. That's a fair ball. Smoke with those good hands will step on the bag. But the second 2-run home run of the ball game. This one by Devin Mesoraco. He has 6 career hits against the Blue Jays, 4 of them home runs.
Sunday evening, and it was then that Jose Bautista invited his entire new team out to his favorite Toronto steakhouse for dinner. And then it was yesterday, with the off day, that Bautista went and visited with some old friends and checked out some of his favorite spots in his old city. Bautista figured it would be an emotional return, and it has been. Many memories flooding back, from the iconic bat flip in 2015 to home run 54. That was a half decade prior. Those, he says, are his favorite moments with the Blue Jays. Bautista maintains this is his home away from home, and Jose was asked to reflect on his time as a Blue Jay. He said this, quote, "It had its ups and downs, a lot of successes, a lot of memories, and I got to share them with the fans." Buck?
Indeed he did. There were so many great moments, and you remember he was part of the breaking of the 22-year drought of postseason appearance for the Blue Jays when they went to the postseason in 2015. Justin Smoke goes after the first pitch and hits a high fly ball. Brandon Nimmo, the center fielder, makes the catch. One away.
You know, when he signed with the Mets and we started thinking about him playing in this game, coming back as a visiting player, you start thinking about, okay, what did he mean to the organization and the team? And the one word that I thought of, swagger. Blue Jays didn't have that swag before he got here. And kind of like a rudderless ship that was just kind of going through the motions. He came here, and overnight it was almost like the Blue Jays started to get their swagger back.
Bautista, teammate Kevin Pillar bounces one to third base. 2 quick outs here, and Pillar talked about how Bautista impacted him early in his career. Jose was hurt early on, but Kevin had a lot of time to visit with him, and he taught him about preparation and routines and getting into a daily habit of thinking about what you're going to do on a given night. Bautista was terrific at that himself.
Yeah, smart player, very smart player.
Jose Bautista hit his 54th home run in 2010 against Jose Mijares in Minnesota, and he absolutely loved hitting at target field. Russell Martin hits one to right. Bautista is going to make another fine catch. You knew he was going to do something special tonight, and he's got a whole ball game ahead of him. 4 pitches for Zack Wheeler. He gets a nice defensive play from Jose Bautista, who's done it for years here at Rogers Center. Bautista knows this ballpark perfectly. Gets a read on it, takes an extra base hit away from Russell Martin. Catch out in right to take a hit away from Russell Martin, and then he just says, "Hey, I got you guys." I tell you what, it's always fun to play against your former team, and he was certainly, I'm sure, emotional when they gave him a rousing standing ovation when he made his first plate appearance here tonight.
11, Jose Bautista.
What do you think Russell's saying to him right now?
I thought we were tight, man. These two played junior college baseball at Chipola Junior College in Florida, so they've been friends for a long time. Petrichka delivers a first pitch strike. Well, Jose's already made a terrific catch in right field, and don't count him out for getting a big hit.
You know he wants to. Whenever you face your team for the first time after being traded or whatever, you want to do something special against him. And you know he's looking for something out over the plate.
Jose is at 146 home runs here at Rogers Center. As a Blue Jay, he hit 288 home runs, second only to Carlos Delgado in franchise history. Delgado hit 336. High fly ball into shallow right field. And Ogichik makes the catch. Jose Bautista came to the batting cage while the Blue Jays were taking BP, and he had a chance to catch up with a lot of old friends, Justin Smoke, and you know, you play 10 years, we're a team. You got a lot of great relationships that have lasted a long time.
With the players and with the coaches and the manager. There's the manager, he and Gibby. And Gibby spoke very highly of him the other day, saying, you know, he made my job a lot easier. He put us on the map. He helped us into the playoffs, which made him look better. Did a lot for my career, he said, as a manager.
Asdrubal Cabrera did a 2-run home run off of Marco Estrada, and then Estrada had to leave the game with an apparent back injury. We've not been updated on the nature of the injury, but there was something physically wrong with Estrada. Jake Petrichik got the final 2 outs in the top of the first, and Preston Gilmet starting to loosen up. This is going to be a bullpen night. The starter gets just 1 out.
You know what makes that tough that on the Blue Jays is a bullpen night. Depending on what happens to Estrada, you might have to get a fresh arm in the bullpen for tomorrow's game. Not saying that, you know, the starting pitcher tomorrow is going to pitch poorly, but if something happens, if there's an injury or something like we saw tonight, you're going to need a fresh arm in the pen for tomorrow. So stay tuned.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of having your AAA ball club in Buffalo. I'm not really sure. Buffalo is at home tonight.
6 o'clock, I think their game was slated to start.
Yeah, they are playing as we speak.
So a call will go out, and either they will hold a pitcher back, maybe tomorrow's starter, or tell them to hold back a reliever or 2. You can't really take your starter out who's already thrown a couple of innings.
John Harris has thrown 6 innings tonight already, so he's out of the equation. So they have plenty of options down there, and of course we don't know the extent of the injury or how many pitchers they're going to have to use tonight. When I managed, my pitching coach was Mark Connor, and I know exactly how John Gibbons feels right now. And you lose your starter early in the game, and you look at your pitching coach and said, we have enough innings to get through this? It's just the way the guys have pitched. They just finished up a wraparound 4-game series against the Tigers.
And you hope that your relievers get out there, have quick innings. Maybe you can push them a little bit further. That's everything that's going on through his mind right now.
Fair ball. Smoke to second for 1. Back to first, double play. Nobody does that better than Justin Smoke. A 3-6-3 double play. He's got a cannon for an arm. Gurriel gave him a good feed on the way back.
That's from one of TD's community partners, and it's a road that's unrelenting, unforgiving, and unforgettable. The Tour de France goes July 7th to 29th on Sportsnet 1. 3-time defending champion Chris Froome absolved of an anti-doping rule just yesterday. Guys?
Thank you very much, Arash. It's one of the best sporting events in the world, the Tour de France. And Grichuk takes the first pitch strike. Well, just as he did against the Blue Jays in New York, Zack Wheeler's coming out firing it. Fastball's been up to 98 miles an hour, and he's thrown a lot of strikes. 18 pitches, just 6 balls.
I think he's finally healthy. I mean, he has battled a ton of injuries over the last 3 seasons that have really robbed him of innings, velocity, and I think he's finally starting to get healthy.
Had Tommy John surgery and missed 2 full seasons.
He had that Tommy John surgery in March of 2015. Did not pitch in the majors in 15 or 2016. Then he had some biceps tendonitis. Last season was on the disabled list for a couple of weeks in June and July. There's a good breaking ball right there, and then had a stress reaction in his right arm. At the end of July, missed the rest of 2017, but he's healthy now.
And you can see why people are talking about him as a trade target. All the contending teams trying to line up their resources to pull off a trade and put themselves in a better situation for the postseason.
He's just 28 years old. So he's just entering the prime of his physical career.
Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Gurriel had a leadoff home run in the bottom of the 10th in yesterday's game, and the Blue Jays looked like they might be able to get back and tie up that game, but they fell a run short. This is bounced off home plate. It's going to bounce foul.
You know what was impressive about that base hit yesterday was he took it right back through the middle. Like the Blue Jays had a chance. When you're staying on the ball, and I think that was the problem that he was having after he had played a couple of weeks in the big leagues. They started throwing him more breaking balls, way more breaking balls, and he started pulling off of it. When you hit the ball back through the middle, that means you're staying on the ball.
Yeah, and it was a good sign too, because he didn't think about a big swing hitting a home run to tie it. He got himself on base and was actually sacrificed to scoring position by Granderson. 2-2 pitch. But Wheeler, he has used the 4-seamer, the 2-seamer, and the cutter very effectively early in this game. Bounce that cutter in the dirt. It's a full count. Devin Travis will be next. We mentioned his good numbers in interleague play this season. He's 9 for 21 with 5 extra base hits. 99 on the radar gun.
99.
That'll get your attention.
Finally healthy again. Average fastball velo in the month of June. His was the best in the National League. Just a tick above Mike Fultonevich of Atlanta, his teammate Jacob deGrom, and Jose Urena from Miami, all around 96.
Ground ball. Rosario waits for it. It fires in time. 2 away. 8 in a row retired by Wheeler.
The diverse Civic family, our most powerful lineup yet. Honda, proud fan since 1977 and the official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays.
It's been a very warm couple of days here in southern Ontario. 26 degrees at the start of play, but it's comfortable inside Rogers Center. Devin Travis takes a 98-mile-an-hour fastball on the corner. Ball on the strike, the number 9 hitter.
Had a chance to visit with Devin today, talking about where he is and how he's feeling at the plate. And he feels like teams have made an adjustment to him and they're just pitching him away. Lots of sliders right on the black or just off the plate. Fastballs away, everything away. And there's one remedy for that. Get a base hit the other way. They'll change.
Had a good cut at that high fastball. yesterday against Mike Fiers and the Tigers. The first 9 Blue Jay batters were retired in order. Curtis Granderson had a swinging bunt up the third baseline in the 4th inning for the first base hit, first base runner. Jam, little flare behind shortstop. Rosario makes the play, and just like Mike Fiers yesterday, Zack Wheeler has retired 9 in a row to start this game.
Of Western Heritage, the greatest outdoor show on earth, comes to Sportsnet July 6th to 13th. Now, we saw Marco Estrada's night end in the first inning. It looked like he was favoring his back area. According to the Blue Jays, Estrada left tonight's game with the left hip soreness. X-rays negative, and he's currently undergoing further evaluation, guys.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate, but it's a little bit more bad news as far as the injuries go, and Marco had to leave the game. He faced just 3 batters. Walked Jose Bautista and gave up a home run to Asdrubal Cabrera.
Yeah, and he'd been dealing over his last few outings, so that really hurts. Preston Gilman into the ballgame for the Blue Jays in 2013. He is with Cleveland. 14 he is with Baltimore. 2015 Tampa Bay and Milwaukee. Out of baseball 16 and 17. This year he is with St. Louis, and the Blue Jays claimed him off waivers on June the 9th. So he has been around, pitched basically out of the bullpen for his career. He's never made a start.
Wilmer Flores grounded out to shortstop to end the top of the first inning. That was against Jake Petrichka. Petrichka went 2 2/3, charged with 2 earned runs on 2 hits, walked a batter, struck out a batter, and gave up a home run. Fastball misses downstairs. 3-1 now. Fly ball deep to center field. Pilar's on the run at the track. This ball is gone. Wilmer Flores has hit the 3rd Mets home run of the ball game. That extends his hit streak to 10 in a row. His 3rd home run in 10 games.
You know, it was Preston Gilman who was on the mound when Kevin Pillar made that unbelievable catch the other day. And I thought we were going to have a replay deep to center field. Pillar went back on that hit by Flores, and it looked like he had it timed up, but it was just a little bit deeper than the one the other day. Deep to center field. You see him look for the wall once again, and it's just out of his reach.
This is Todd Frazier. Frazier was tagged out by the first baseman, Justin Smoke, his first time up back in the second. Gurriel made a wide throw, and Frazier tried to dance around Smoke. Foul ball.
It's a team, the Mets, that came into this game really struggling to score runs, averaging about 3 runs a game over about their last 25 games. But they have been hitting home runs, and they're doing it again tonight.
Mickey Callaway and his bench coach Gary DeSarcine. Another breaking ball. Big hop for Solarte. In time. Time now for a look at Skyscraper, starring Dwayne Johnson.
Skyscraper, in theaters and Real D 3D July 13th.
Preston Gilmet, the third Blue Jays pitcher to work here. Gilmet actually pitched in Japan in 2017. Pitched for the Yakult Swallows. And he worked in relief over there as well. Appeared in 28 games. Had a 1-1 record with a 362 earned run average. It used to be you went to Japan, you would acknowledging your major league career was over. That's not the case anymore. Guys go over and come back. Kobe Lewis, probably the most successful pitcher to go to Japan, and he came back and pitched on his Rangers playoff teams.
How about the pitcher for the Cardinals, Milos Mikulic?
Miles Michaelos.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
He came back after a couple of years in Japan.
Yeah, throwing harder and throwing better, and he's one of the better pitchers on the Cardinals this season.
This is Dominic Smith. He doubled and scored on the Mesoraco home run. It's his breaking ball into center. Pilar jogging in. He gets there, 2 away. Maybe their most famous position player to go to Japan and then come back, Cecil Fielder, who went to Japan early in his career, came back and had a 50 home run season.
You had a chance to play with him here in Toronto, no?
Yeah, he was a very young player. He and Fred McGriff about the same time, 84, 85.
And then you go over there, and you're absolutely right. If you went to Japan, you weren't coming back here.
Yeah.
That wasn't happening. He might have been the guy who started that. Going over there, get some playing time, establish yourself as a big leaguer, come back, get the opportunity.
The Blue Jays had a player named Greg Boomer Wells, a big first baseman that played in the minor leagues. Got a little bit of time in the big leagues, but he went to Japan and had a long career in Japan. This is popped up over the screen and out of play.
He became a star
Yeah.
over in Japan.
Of course, Eric Thames, a former Blue Jay, he went to Korea and played in Korea and then came back and is playing very well for the Brewers. This is another high fly ball to left field. Teoscar Hernandez calling for it. He gets there, and that'll do it. But the Mets get a leadoff home run from Wilmer Flores. Flores extending his hit streak to 10 in a row. Seattle to take on the Mariners. It all starts at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific time. Andrew Heaney goes to the mound for the Angels against Wade LeBlanc, a couple of lefties. The Mariners, if they win tonight, they'd be 24 games over 500 for the first time since 2003. And that was the final day of the season in 2003. The Mariners lead that series 4-2. They swept the Angels in Seattle in mid-June. The Angels have 9 games with the Mariners this month.
Remember when 30 saves was a great season? Edwin Diaz has 32 already.
It's a great half season.
32 saves for the Mariners already.
Seattle's a really interesting team. They are just a half game behind Houston. Everybody is so quick to anoint Houston the AL West champions, but the Mariners have won 7 in a row, 8 of their last 10, while the Astros have lost 3 in a row. Curtis Granderson takes one inside. 2 balls and a strike to Granderson. Good tight breaking ball. Now it's 2-2. The Mets and Zack Wheeler have a 5-0 lead. Boy, he can add and subtract on his fastball very, very effectively.
Make it go this way, make it go that way at about 92, 93, and then when he needs a little bit more, he can up it up to 98, free and easy. You know, you hear all the noise about DeGrom and Syndergaard, their 2 best pitchers possibly on the trade market. I don't know if that's true or not, but maybe they're trying to get some interest to then maybe trade a Zack Wheeler, who is signed through next year. So he's a controllable guy. He's not a rental.
Boy, that's a great topic of discussion at this month of July, when the trade deadline is the 31st of July. And the philosophy has changed so dramatically. And Mickey Callaway, in his first year as the manager, was the pitching coach for the Cleveland Indians. And last year, Cleveland added Joe Smith. And Joe Smith proved to be a very effective reliever for them down the stretch. But I think the philosophical change has been organizations value their prospects much more than they value the opportunity to get a rental player.
So in the next couple of weeks, those players whose contracts are up at the end of the season, can you expect to get the best prospects from the other organization?
I think it's going to be a very fluid situation. Fluid by thinking, okay, if the Yankees need a starter and then they have maybe another injury to one of their starters currently, all of a sudden their need becomes more dramatic.
And then if you get a couple of teams bidding against or for a player, then you might be able to do something.
That's the best scenario, of course, for a team like the Blue Jays or the Mets. 3 or 4 clubs calling you at the same time asking about the same player, and then you play one against the other, of course. Boston, New York, and Houston have all won 50 games, as has the Seattle Mariners.
Amazing. 54-31 to start tonight.
Line drive into center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Granderson's headed for third. Teoscar Hernandez headed for second. There's the slide, the tag, and he is out. Teoscar immediately signaling to the dugout that he felt like he beat the tag, and they'll check on it. DeMarlo Hale communicating with the video replay room, but Teoscar gunned down at second for the time being. Brandon Nimmo, making his 14th start in center field, has made 3 assists coming into this game from the outfield.
And no errors. He is playing, shading him to right field. Gets over there. The key to this play, cutting it off, using the backhand, and coming up, firing right on the bag. Initially, he's called out. They're going to take a look at it. Let's see if he slides in there. The toes might have been in there.
Boy, very difficult to tell, but that's exactly the kind of slide you want. Straight leg slide into the bag, and he looks safe. Indeed, he looked safe. The tag was up on his shin, and he came up quickly, waving a finger into the dugout saying, hey, check it. I don't think I'm out.
From that one shot we had from center field, it looked like the glove of Cabrera hit something just before the tag. I don't know if it was the base or his toe. Watch the glove as he starts to swipe. He hits something. See, I think it was his foot.
Yeah, it looked like it hit his toe, didn't it? Watch the glove move right there.
Yeah, and he's not on the base. The second tag is the one around the shin area. I saw his glove move when he went down to tag. And it was that one shot from center field. Yeah, so I'm not surprised that they call him out.
Good catch by you. So Hernandez is out. 8-2 on the outfield assist by Nimmo. Ricky Callaway asking for the review. Nimmo with his 4th outfield assist of the season. And again, he plays all 3 outfield positions, so he's checking his defensive alignments for Solarte. Well, that's a big out for the Mets. First out in a 5-0 ball game. Second base.
Yeah, you take a guy out of scoring position. Now you were hoping for a big inning. Now you're hoping to get this guy in.
Teoscar trying to stretch it into a double. Would have been second and third with no outs, but then we'll throw him out. Boy, Wheeler just keeps pounding that strike zone with 2 different fastballs. .98 on the hands.
If he throws a breaking ball, don't throw it for a strike. You have to respect that fastball. The Mets are going to shift just a little bit more now, Rosario. But he's got some nasty stuff as a hitter. You got to start thinking about getting it ready for that fastball.
There's that hard cutter. Hernandez was engaged in a conversation with Morales and Diaz, and you could bet the 2 veterans, especially Morales, just going over things. I'm sure saying, hey, you know, you got to make sure you're in there on a situation like that. You don't want to make the first out of an inning, especially when we're down 5-0. Early in the game, take your base hit. Let the next guy get a hit behind you. There's that breaking ball in the dirt. 2 outs now.
You know, and because you have to respect that fastball, maybe start your swing a little early because it's on top of you. The hard breaking ball out of the strike zone is the pitch he's going to use to get the strikeout. Solarte can't come up with it. That's a hard breaking ball. Tough to stop your swing.
Smoke had a couple of big hits against Wheeler in New York. Had a 1st inning home run and a 2-run double. Breaking ball. What's it do as a hitter when you're in the box and Wheeler works so quickly? Puts a lot of pressure on you, I would imagine.
Yeah, it feels like a full court press if you play basketball. That's when you want to step out, maybe mess up his timing. He's in a nice little rhythm right now as a pitcher, working quickly like that, throwing with a lot of confidence. They might give him the green light again here, 3-0.
Smoke just doesn't swing very often on 3-0 counts. He Says he has a tendency to overswing, gets a little bit too anxious.
Nobody around third base with Smoke at the plate, so Granderson can get off as far as he wants.
Smoke thought it was off the plate inside. Jim Wolf, the home plate umpire, calls it a strike. We'll count 2 outs. Granderson and a leadoff walk.
Plenty of room. If he bounces one around home plate, maybe you can score.
Ball 4. Second walk of the inning issued by Wheeler.
Check out the Beauty Tone Paint event on now through July 3rd, only at Home Hardware. Here's how.
It has been a great Canada Day weekend here. Now it's Tuesday and the weather continues to be outstanding. People enjoying summer. It finally arrived in southern Ontario. So Kevin Pillar grounded out the third base in the second. Little chopper out in front of home. Mesoraco has it, and that'll do it. Wheeler gets out of it. The Blue Jays leave a pair. We've played 4 innings. The Mets have a 5-0 lead. Now time for a Blue Jays Central update. Here's Hazel May and Joe Siddle in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Swing and a drive. High fly ball left field. This is deep. This is 50.
Jose Bautista's 50th home run of the season in 2010. It was a first-inning home run of King Felix Hernandez. It was the only run of the ball game. A 1-0 win, and it was just a great moment for the entire organization. Certainly Bautista becoming the first 50 home run hitter in franchise history, who would go on to hit 4 more that season and end up with a franchise high 54 home runs.
But he wasn't just about home runs that season. If you look at the numbers he put up in 2010, he played 161 games that season, scored 109 runs, walked 100 times, drove in 124, and with 54 home runs.
Yeah, he had a phenomenal season. He also led the league in total bases that year. He had 351 total bases. His first Silver Slugger Award, his first of 6 straight All-Star appearances.
I've seen a lot of great seasons in Blue Jay history, sitting in this chair or sitting down in that dugout. That season in 2010 was one of the best from start to finish.
He was just so consistent. Rosario goes after a pitch in the dirt, swings and strikes out. 1 away. When you talk about 10 years of great play by Jose Bautista, he has put himself in the ranks of historic Offensive production, OPS, he's second historically. Extra base hits, he's third. Second to Delgado in home runs. Also third in RBIs. He's third in strikeouts. He played a lot of games with the Blue Jays. He played 1,235 games with the Blue Jays and had 948 strikeouts. But he was an impact hitter.
Before that great season, he was traded here in 2008. Before that great season in 2009, he was a part-time player. Blue Jays really weren't sure what they had for a full season with him. He only played 113 games, had 336 at-bats. He was playing first, he played some third, played the outfield. But I remember one year, and it must have been 2010, because that's when he really established himself as a player. We opened the season as that ball is lifted down the left field line. That's going to be down for a hit.
Brandon Nimmo. Boy, Teoscar threw that ball right over the bag at second. And defensively, the Blue Jays were all out of whack in their alignment. Nobody was on the bag to take the throw. Gurriel had to go out because it was a pop-up down the left field line. But anyway, it ends up a double, and here's Jose Bautista.
But to finish that story, Buck, the team opened with a couple of exhibition games in Houston against the Astros, and Jose was the leadoff hitter for the Blue Jays. And he got a triple in that game. He also got a couple of other hits, and we're like saying, hey, this guy, given a chance to play regularly, he's a pretty good player. He's got power the other way. He's got bat speed, and he's got the will to be great. And the rest is history.
He's always had a great eye and terrific plate discipline. When Jose came here and got a chance in 2008, he didn't play in the outfield. They put him in the outfield in 2009. He had been an infielder, and boy, what a great move that was. He became a prototypical right fielder, strong arm, power hitter. But Cito Gaston had talked to him. He was the manager, and he thought, you know what, I think you're just a little bit late getting started. So Dwayne Murphy, one of the hitting coaches that worked with him, suggested just start your movement earlier. And it did wonders. Jose is a great student of the game. And he was always very adept at picking up pitchers tipping their pitches. If they happen to have a weakness or something, he could pick it up and then put it into good use. Not everybody can. You can get the pitches, but you can't be patient enough to hit them. Bautista could do that. That's going to be into the seats, out of play. How about this guy? We have seen that look a long time here with Bautista's young fans copying his beard and his exaggerated batting stance.
A lot of hours in that tape room watching tape from pitchers trying to pick up anything.
Another pop up into the seats. Jose Bautista was really accommodating to the fans in his first trip back to Rogers Center. He signed a lot of autographs. He met with the media, had a little press conference before the game, but you can see the jerseys being extended over the railing. A lot of Bautista number 19 uniforms being signed down there.
Nice play by the bat boy down the left field line. He's starting to get, Bautista is starting to measure that breaking ball from Gilmet here. One more time. The young man with a great play saving those fans, but he's starting to get the timing of that breaking ball. They might want to change up here, so throw some a little faster.
Threw him a fastball upstairs. Jose walked in the first and scored on the Cabrera 2-run home run. And he flied out to right field. Fifth inning, the Mets have a 5-0 lead. And little Jose timing up the pitcher as well. Well, that's a pretty good looking pitch. The appeal down the first, no swing. Time now for an update. Let's check in with Hazel May. Thank you very much. Sean Newcomb on the mound, a young left-hander for the Braves, has had a tough night. Preston Gilman out. Tim Mesa coming into the ballgame to face Asdrubal Cabrera when we come back. Can you tell us who wore number 19 before Bautista? And I think he actually wore a different number than 19 early in his tenure with the Blue Jays.
Yeah, when he first came up, he was number 23. When he first came to the Blue Jays in 2008 and then changed. Tim Mesa into the game. This is his second year in the big leagues. 11 games this season. He's 1-0, 422 earned run average. He's got a good arm. Big fastball and a decent slider.
First pitch strike delivered by Mesa. This is Asdrubal Cabrera, a switch hitter. He has homered and walked. Batting left-handed. There go the runners, and Mesa with the inside move, and they will tag out Nimmo. So the Mets trying to double steal, and Mesa did a good job as he peeked back at the runner and saw him breaking toward third, and he's able to get Nimmo. Second out of the inning.
That will help. Mets trying to be a little bit too aggressive. Mesa picks up on it. Here's the inside move, and Nimmo's got no chance at third base.
Bautista moves into second base on the caught stealing. Ball and a strike to Cabrera. .94, but well out of the strike zone.
He's got plenty of fastball. He really does. I think to be a very effective pitcher at the major league level, he just needs to polish it up just a little bit, be a little bit more consistent with that fastball.
Cabrera went around, tried to hold up. It's 2-2 now. Mesa's 26 years old. He came up last season, his rookie year, appeared in 19 games. finished up the season throwing the ball very well. This is his 12th appearance of this season. Everything is up. Michael Conforto has struck out and hit it into a double play. Jose Bautista walked for a second time. He is in scoring position, 3-2. Meza this year in AAA Buffalo appeared in 12 games, had a 3-1 record. Pitching out of the bullpen for the Bisons. Another 3-2 pitch, and Meza checks on Bautista. He wasn't going anywhere. We ask you about Bautista's jersey, number 19. Who wore it before Bautista? If you guessed Marco Scudero, you were right. Bautista wore 23 in 2008 and 2009, and then switched to number 19 in 2010.
We'll have to ask our guy sitting to your left who wore it before Marco Scudero, number 19.
Mr. Scott Carson, who is in charge of all the stats for our broadcast, and he is a numbers guru. You mention a name and he'll throw out a number at you.
I bet you he gets it. We'll ask him in between.
Yeah, he knows what the answer is. He's just not telling us. Estrada Cabrera with a 3-2 count. The Mets lead at 5-0. Had a good cut at that pitch. Cabrera has already homered this evening. The Mets have hit 3 home runs in this game. Cabrera with a 2-run shot. Mesoraco a 2-run homer. And Wilmer Flores a solo shot to dead center. He's out in front of that pitch.
Tell you, Jose's been out there a long time, and we've been talking about how smart he is, picking up things that the pitchers do to tip their pitches, or what catchers are doing to give signs. This has been a 10-pitch at bat for Asdrubal Cabrera, and Jose's seen all the signs. Might want to change something up.
Cabrera has been on everything. Ball in the dirt, takes ball fourth. So Meza walks the first man he faces. That'll put Cabrera at first and Bautista at second. Fourth walk of the game for the Mets. The Mets have hit 3 homers in this game. It's the 7th time this season they've hit 3 in a game. They have 2 4-home run games this year. Michael Conforto batting with 2 outs. There's a strike.
He's got plenty of fastball. He did not work in that series that we just finished up with the Tigers, the 4-game series with Detroit. So he is well rested, and his fastball shows that. I've seen some 94s and some 95s.
95, but well off the plate outside. Conforto has hit much better on the road than he has at home this year. Batting .275 away from Citi Field, just a $156 at home. Meza hopeful of maybe getting another out with that spin move, but Bautista's not budging.
The whole Mets team have hit better on the road this season. It's not just Michael Conforto. They have had their problems at home.
There's a good slider for the strikeout. Meza walks a man, but strikes out Conforto to end the inning. We go to the bottom of the fifth. Blue Jays trail by 5.
About the Blue Jays not bringing him back. And as always, an educated answer from Jose, who said, quote, "I'm not naive or selfish enough to believe they should have done that." Bautista added the numbers last year speak for themselves. But of late, those same numbers show he's getting hot. He said coming into this year, given what happened last season, he's working on cutting down strikeouts, being more patient. Bautista told me the walks are coming, but I still need to work on not striking out as much. Another 2 walks tonight. Buck here tonight.
Yeah, Jose struck out 170 times last year in 157 games. He played every day, and he posted up every single day. He had a .308 on-base percentage, by far well off his career average. His average on-base percentage, .362. Not only is he a slugger, he can get on base. He'll score a lot of runs for you. Here's Russell Martin. He was denied a base hit when Bautista made a sliding catch in right to end the second. Isn't baseball a very small community when you think about it? Russell Martin from Canada, Jose Bautista from the Dominican Republic, and they were teammates in Florida in junior college. And then they were reunited in the big leagues here in Toronto.
And they win. Wherever they go, they have won. That's the common denominator. Blue Jays didn't win until Russell got here with the help of Josh Donaldson and Jose Bautista. And then his first time up, he hits a laser to right field and he robs them.
Curveball in there for a strike. 2-2 to Martin. The Blue Jays have one hit. Teoscar Hernandez hit a line drive into center field. He was trying to stretch it into a double. He was thrown out by Brandon Nimmo, and that's the only hit they have. They have drawn a couple of walks against Zack Wheeler, but John Gibbons has seen this before. Blue Jays have leaned heavily on the home run, and when they don't hit home runs, it's hard for them to score runs.
Yeah, they got to start stringing them together, and it's going to be tough against Wheeler. Take your walks when he gives them up to you, like that.
At the Honda Checkered Flag event, the real victory lap is the drive home.
Beautiful summer evening here in Toronto. The roof is open for the first time in 4 games. Randall Grichuk. He waves at that breaking ball. Grichuk struck out on a cutter in the 3rd inning. That was the first of 3 strikeouts for Wheeler.
We mentioned it at the top of the show about Wheeler. Don't pay any attention to that record. He comes into this game pretty hot pitcher for the Mets. That's pretty nasty. He's pitched at least 6 innings in 11 of his 15 starts this season, including 7 of his last 8 starts. And he also entered the game tonight with 8 scoreless innings. 8 consecutive scoreless innings, and he's thrown up 4 more tonight.
He makes quick work of Randall Grichuk. That's his 4th strikeout of the ball game.
And they put that one in a good spot down and in where Grichuk couldn't get to it. The Super Slow-Mo is brought to you by the Samsung S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now. He's got a splitter. Yeah, you saw it on the replay. That splitter from Wheeler, and it's been a tough pitch for him.
Lourdes Gurriel, the shortstop, grounded out his only time up tonight. Blue Jays are not about to run in this ball game. They're down 5. They need some base runners.
Yeah, not a whole lot a manager can do when you're down 5-0. You can't really gamble. You got to hope that the guys start stringing some hits together. Maybe somebody pop one with a couple of guys on base and get you back into the game.
Yeah, you just have to have very focused at bats and hopefully can get to Wheeler. Good take by Gurriel. Bottom of the 5th inning. Barnes at first. He drew a leadoff walk to start the inning. Two and two now to Gurriel. Bouncing ball to the right side. Cabrera goes to first, 2 away. Quick timeout now for Marvel Studios, Ant-Man and the Wasp.
There is another person I can think of.
Maybe I'm doing it wrong.
2 away with Martin at second for Devin Travis. Gurriel grounds out for a second time. Travis has 2 home runs during interleague play. One of those home runs was off of Max Scherzer of the Washington Nationals.
It's game winner. The only run scored in the game against Washington. 2-run home run. He's getting a lot of breaking balls.
Cutters and curveballs.
Yeah, sliders right off the plate. Trying to keep everything away from him. And then they'll bust him in every now and then, and that one got him.
That got both the batter and the catcher. Mesoraco, that rocked his world. Travis got hit. The ball carried off Travis and hit the catcher squarely in the mask. So Travis aboard, hit by a pitch.
Well, two-seamer and starts coming inside. He can't pull the hands out. Got him in the wrist. And then right off the helmet of the catcher, you can see how far inside the catcher was set up. And you're right, got both of them.
Well, you see, Mesoraco sensed that there was going to be a hit batter, and he was ducking out of the way, and it caught him right on the top of the helmet. So it did not hit the mask, which provides the most protection. But because he was flinching to dodge that carom, he got hit right on top of the head. So 2 aboard. That'll turn the lineup over. Curtis Granderson. Well, here's that opportunity for a big hit you were talking about.
That's what I was just thinking about. You got a leadoff walk and then a hit batter, and you've got a player who's capable of knocking one out of here. If he does, Blue Jays are right back into it.
Check swing, foul. 0-2.
And Grandy would love nothing more than to do some damage against his former team. Very popular player when he was with the Mets.
Oh-2 pitch, and Wheeler will step up.
Yeah, not much the infield can do right there with Russell Martin. They got to play deep with 2 outs. So Russell was taking advantage of that and jumping off and getting a little bit bigger lead at second base. Wheeler should be concentrating on the guy at the plate. 2 outs and 2 strikes.
Got a 5-run lead. Curtis played 4 years with the Mets. Another ball in the dirt. You're right. He was distracted by Martin, and now he's thrown a couple of balls in the dirt. It's a 2-2 count after being ahead 0-2. Breaking ball up out over the plate. Joe Biagini starting to loosen up for the Blue Jays. Tim Meza struck out Michael Conforto to end the top of the 5th.
They play him, Granderson, in a pull position, a shift. You can see where the percentage of the balls on the ground go. His last 100 balls in play, where they go on the ground, that's why they have the shift on at the plate.
That's going to drop and be a fair ball. Martin's around third. He's going to score. Travis is headed for third. He'll stop there, and Granderson delivers. A 2-out RBI double. And the Blue Jays are on the board here in the 5th.
This was the spot in the game where they got to Zack Wheeler the first time they faced him earlier this year in the middle of May. He rolled along at the beginning of that game. The only blemish was the home run by Smoke, and then in the 5th inning, the Blue Jays scored 3 runs on 3 hits, left the bases loaded. Granderson's going to fight off that fastball on the inner half. They go inside. He breaks his bat, but then hits it in a good spot. He will pick up the RBI, and the Jays are on the board.
Martin walked. He comes in to score. Granderson, RBI number 27 on the season. Travis is at third base. Dave Island went out and had a quick visit with Wheeler. Martin scores from second, and the Mets bullpen starting to move around down in right field. "5-1 Mets." Well, he was looking for that breaking ball.
Yeah, and he got it on the inner half and missed it. Fouled it back.
There's Island talking to the bullpen, and they all started to move around when he went to the mound. Ricky Bonas is the bullpen coach, former big league pitcher. Ground ball wide of third. The Blue Jays are 7-3 this season in interleague play. The Mets, on the other hand, is 2-5. Good block by Mesoraco. He keeps it in front of him, saves a run for the time being.
Looks like it might have been the splitter right there. They're hitting just 226 against that splitter this season. Could not control that one. Good play by Mesoraco to keep it in front of him.
One ball, 2 strikes. Ouch. That one hurt. You see Teoscar wears that pad over his left foot.
But judging from his reaction, I don't think it hit the pad. Another split. Watch this one go down and in. He tops it. Looks like it might have got him in the foot. Yeah, right off the pad. Missed it.
Hernandez taking his time to get back in the box, trying to get the feeling back in that left foot. Wheeler strikes him out. The Blue Jays get a run, but they leave 2 base runners on base. We'll go to the 6th. The Mets have a 5-1 lead.
$20,000 fans will receive that Blue Jays bucket hat. That's when the Yankees come to town. You can join in the WestJet flight deck for live music and entertainment. BlueJays.com for tickets for Margaritaville night at the ballpark. $1. What can't Aaron Judge do? Tonight his first career game with 2 stolen bases.
Wow. 2 stolen bases for the big guy, and he's got a lot of good things going on. Last night he had a chance to save the ball game for the Yankees in right field, and Ronald Acuna Jr. hit the home run to right, and it just went off his glove. in extra innings for the game winner for Atlanta.
I thought he had that one for sure. 6'7". Just missed it, and the Yankees lost.
Judge has 6 stolen bases. The guy that's doing a number right now for the Yankees, Aaron Hicks, he homered again tonight. He's got 15 home runs.
15. He spent some time on the DL.
Yeah.
Remember, right at the beginning of the season, he hurt his side when we were playing him here the first series of the season.
Yep. This is Wilmer Flores. He homered off Preston Guillemette in the 4th. That home run, his 3rd in his 10-game hit streak. Flores went on the DL with a back issue, and he's reached base in all 17 games he's played since coming off that disabled list. Dave Island, the pitching coach, having a chat with Zack Wheeler. And I think Island a little bit frustrated by the pattern that he has seen from Wheeler. Wheeler retired 9 in a row to start the game and then walked 2 in the 4th. But he was distracted by base runners and had a 5-0 lead.
Yeah.
I think probably that has something to do with the conversation from Island, his pitching coach.
Walked the leadoff batter, and he came around to score.
Tell you what, he's got big time stuff.
Yeah.
He threw 99 tonight. Plus, you mentioned a great splitter, good curveball, cutter. He's got the whole package. But I think oftentimes pitchers, especially talented pitchers like Wheeler, have a tendency to use too many pitches.
Tell you what, the Blue Jays have made him work.
This is lined down the left field line, but into the seats, foul. You know, we talked to a lot of the former pitchers, the guys that pitched a long time, like Jim Cott, and he would tell us that there were games in which he would go out to the mound, tell the catcher, I'm going to throw all fastballs until I feel like I need to throw a breaking ball. And literally, he would just throw all fastballs. And he said, I don't want any signs. I'll swipe my glove on my jersey when I want to throw a breaking ball. So he called the game from the mound.
And that was, hey, I'm just going to read the bats, and I'm going to throw fastballs until they show me they're going to hit my fastball. If they don't, why would I change?
10 pitches in this at bat as Flores battling against Mesa as Todd Frazier waits on deck. Flores may have chased a ball. Grichuk makes a nice running catch in the alley. Run away. Let's check in with Hazel May. Tanner Roark, the starter for the Nationals, charged with 9 earned runs on 10 hits over 7 innings. Brian Johnson, the left-hander, started for the game, started for the Red Sox, but could not complete 5 innings. And he had a 9-2 lead. He finishes with 4 2/3, but he did not qualify for the win.
What is up with Washington? If they lose that game, they're a 500 team. They'd be 42-42. That's a team that everybody thought was a shoo-in to win the National League East.
Washington, 3rd place in the National League East. Atlanta, Philadelphia, then Washington. The Mets are solidly in 4th place, 15 back. But you're right, when you look at the Nationals roster.
Now they've had some injuries to some of their starters. Steven Strasburg hasn't thrown for a while. But they fortified their bullpen. They've got some other good pitchers like Max Scherzer, pretty good. Gio Gonzalez. They might have the best player in the National League in Bryce Harper. And they're .500.
Strasburg went on the DL June 10. Matt Wieters has been out with a hamstring injury. Ryan Zimmerman went on the DL on the 1st of July, same day that Wieters was DL. Scherzer, he's having another terrific season. He's 10-5. Frazier pops it up. Second baseman Devin Travis out in the outfield makes the catch.
This 4K broadcast is brought to you by the Samsung QLED TV. See nothing else.
Beautiful shot back looking into Rogers Center next to CN Tower from Center Island. 2 outs, top of the 6th. Dominic Smith doubled his first time up. He's 1 for 2 with a run scored.
These are the kind of hitters that you have to get out. I think if you're Tim Mayza, you're a hard throwing lefty, you're facing a young left-handed hitter, you got to dominate him.
Line drive left field, and that's going to get down for a hit, then bounce into the seats. Second double of the ball game for Dominic Smith. Double number 5 on the season. He is 2 for 3 so far tonight. So here's John Gibbons. So Mayza faces 5 batters. He pitches a total of 1 inning. He has a walk, a strikeout, and now a double. The runner on second is his responsibility. Joe Biagini coming out of the bullpen for the Blue Jays. Marco Estrada was knocked out after recording just 1 out in the first inning. So the bullpen has had to step up, and now Joe Biagini into the game.
Patrichka, Gilmet, Mayza, now Biagini. Joe's been throwing the ball much better of late. He hasn't allowed an earned run in his last 7 outings. That covers 8 2/3 innings, a walk and 6 strikeouts over that time. His fastball command much better command with his breaking ball. So he now gets to face the right-hander Mesoraco with a runner in scoring position.
Catcher Devin Mesoraco has homered and flied out. Dominic Smith at second base for the Mets. First pitch strike from Biagini. As Pat mentioned, Biagini has not allowed a run since June 17th. Last time he gave up a run 8 games ago. He's got to save a run here. Boy, that's a good curveball. He's quickly ahead, 0-2.
Yeah, well, you don't have to worry about facing 21 batters, 25 batters, whatever a starter looks to try and do. When you just have shorter spurts, it seems like Joe's a little bit better in those shorter spurts. His fastball's got a little bit more on it. His curveball's a little bit sharper. He'll throw it for strikes.
Slider is away for a ball, 1-2 now. Joe is making his 17th appearance as a reliever, and it took him a while to get acclimated to this role once again, but he seems to be much more confident right now coming out of the bullpen. That dribble up the third baseline as Biagini's got a lot of movement on his fastball.
He's got a cutter. He's got that fastball. He can sink it when he needs to. That one looked like the sinker right there. That got right in on the hands of Mesoraco. He couldn't get it out in front. And of course, that curveball is just 78 miles an hour, and he creates a lot of spin on it and gets a lot of break on his curveball.
Well, a curveball for a strikeout. Biagini strands the inherited base runner at second. He saves a run for Tim Mason.
Much more. It's available now, and you can learn more at rbigame.com. Rated E for everyone. Big day in Canadian baseball. Noah Naylor, drafted 29th overall, has signed with Cleveland for $2.57 million. Naylor, we last saw on our broadcast against the Blue Jays in spring training. He said then, being a pro baseball player is a lifestyle. You have to love what you do. You have to be all in, not just performing and playing. Buck, he'll get that chance with the Cleveland organization.
Well, congratulations to Noah Naylor, a nice young man. We had a chance to meet him the last couple of years when the junior national team plays against the Blue Jays in spring training. And, you know, he knows what it takes to be a pro player. His brother is playing in Double-A. Boy, that is a mile-high fly ball to right. Bautista is waiting on it, and Solarte's read time. But Josh Naylor is in Double-A with the Padres in the Texas League. He's hitting .311 with 15 doubles, 10 homers, and 54 RBIs. He's 21 years old in Double-A. He's 3 years younger than the league average. So the Naylors have a lot to celebrate. Two fine young men. Watch the catcher. And boy, he's taking a beating.
Yes,
Evan Mesoraco got hit by a ball that glanced off Devin Travis, and now he gets clipped on the head by the follow-through of Solarte. One out for Smoke.
He got the ricochet off of the Devin Travis, hit by a pitch. Now he gets the backswing from Solarte. He also had to get that ball that was in the dirt, if you remember that. Nice play there. You were just talking about the San Diego Padres. You and I, we talk to scouts all the time, and we ask them, you know, in your travels and in your scouting, what systems around baseball have the best prospects? And more times than not, the scouts will mention the San Diego Padres as having some of the best prospects in all of baseball. So congratulations to Josh Naylor being part of that. He's going to be in the big leagues pretty soon.
There's a lot of scouts at this ball game, and obviously with the trade deadline, the end of this month, people are looking around, and there's been a lot of interest in Zack Wheeler, so they're checking him out. But these scouts, it's really interesting because the dynamics of a trade this time of the year, I mean, it takes more than just a couple of phone calls.
Right.
You have to understand who has the players, which organizations. And you mentioned the Padres. The Yankees always have a lot of good players in their minor league system. The Cardinals, Dodgers, those teams are always loaded. And then you look at teams that have young players in the big leagues and players backed up in AAA and AA and lower. Pilar hits it deep to center. Nimmo back on the warning track, makes the catch. That'll end it. So Zack Wheeler, 6 strong innings. He walks off with a 4-run lead. Rosario, Nimmo, and Bautista against Biagini. Rogers Blue Jays baseball partnership. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays baseball partnership. Jose Bautista has made his return to Rogers Center. A lot of fans have acknowledged his presence. He was honored in a video tribute before the start of this game, and he's received a nice ovation each time he's come to the plate tonight. He had 10 outstanding seasons with the Blue Jays, a 6-time All-Star, and 2 trips to the postseason. A Ahmed Rosario takes the first pitch, strike from Biagini.
You know what Jose's on-base percentage was when he was a member of the Blue Jays? Now think about all the home runs and RBIs and everything he did, but his on-base percentage as a member of the Jays, 372. That's crazy.
Sharply hit, but right to Gurriel. No problems this time. One away. Well, we mentioned the 10 seasons. Twice he led the league in home runs, 2010, 2011. And the most home runs in franchise history. Carlos Delgado is the all-time home run leader, followed by Jose Bautista and Edwin Encarnacion. When Bautista and Encarnacion teamed up together, they were a deadly 1-2 punch for sure.
No fun for anybody to face if you were facing the Blue Jays, because they had great on-base percentage ability, could hunt pitches, they could drive in runs and home runs.
Jose hit the bat flip home run in Game 5 of the ALCS in 15, and Edwin hit the walk-off home run in a wild card game in 2016 against Baltimore. They had so many big hits in their time with the Blue Jays.
I've been in this ballpark for many games, and so have you. Was it ever any louder than those two home runs after those two home runs?
I don't remember anything being as loud, and it was such a magical moment because the Blue Jays had trailed. Texas kicked it around that inning, made 3 errors in the inning, and set up Bautista's home run. But it was a magical moment, and one that no baseball fan across Canada will ever forget. It's right there with Joe Carter's home run in the World Series.
Absolutely. And Robbie Alomar's home run
against Oakland
to finally get the Blue Jays over the hump.
Nimmo takes a walk. That's 5 walks issued by the Blue Jays so far in this game.
Bautista.
A little bit of a smile for Joe Biagini. Jose has walked twice and flied out. 0 for 1. He scored a run in the first inning.
How about that phone that guy was holding right there? Did you see it? On the back of it was Jose Bautista in the bat flip on his cell phone. Yeah, you want to talk about an iconic moment? Check it out. That's awesome.
Yeah. He's got the bat flip there, and so many people remember it. And, you know, Blue Jay fans, as you say, across Canada, that's the iconic moment of that career for sure.
You know, iconic moments, you know, become that when all you have to do is say bat flip or shot heard round the world or those kind of things, and instantly the baseball fan knows what you're talking about. And forever, when you hear bat flip, this is what you flash back to. That. Watch the fans in the background. Unbelievable.
Ryan Goins and Josh Donaldson score. This is a fly ball. When you think about it, that was the 7th inning. Blue Jays went into that inning down 6-3. And it was almost one of those situations where you say, well, it's unfortunate, but it's been a good season.
You've seen a lot of games, okay, in all your years. You've seen a lot of innings. Was that the greatest inning you ever saw?
It's certainly one of the best.
What happened in the top of the inning and then what happened in the bottom of the inning in all of baseball that you've witnessed.
There goes the runner. It's ball 4 to Bautista. He walks for a 3rd time. So Gurriel Jr., after getting the first man this inning, has walked back-to-back hitters. Well, you talk about the top half of the inning. That's the situation where Sin-Shu Chu was the batter. Russell Martin threw the ball back to the mound and hit Chu's bat. And the runner came in from 3rd. Odor scored from 3rd, and everybody went, whoa, isn't that a terrible way to lose? Didn't turn out that way. Biagini is done. Aaron Loup coming into the game to face Cabrera.
Who said when Jose was here, I talked to him about what hitters would look for in different situations. But Loup said on top of that, Bautista taught me how to take care of your body, how to do different things. And Loup said he was always there to bounce ideas off of. Loup said, for me, when I first got here, I didn't work out too much or do anything other than play baseball. He said, Jose showed me how to recover, how to keep myself healthy, how to be a pro. Buck, you never think a franchise player and a then middle reliever would have a lot of dialogue, but Bautista and Loup certainly did.
Yeah, and Jose was that kind of guy where he really understood because, you know, he bounced around. What did he play with? 4 teams 1 year?
1 year, 2004.
And he knew that when he had arrived here, he was a big part of this resurgence of the organization, and he was happy to share his information. He was one of the original guys on this team, the generational team, that really got into working out, getting himself in great shape.
And looking at a lot of film and trying to pick up little things that pitchers do, teams do, what they're doing to them. Edwin Encarnacion told me that one of the reasons that he became a really good hitter is because Jose taught him how to watch film, how to pick up things from pitchers and what they're trying to do to you. I think that's a sign of a good teammate, when you help your teammate to get better.
Loup throws a strike to Cabrera. It's 1-1 now. A ball and 2 strikes. Blue Jays scored a single run in the bottom of the 5th. It's a 5-1 Mets lead. But the Jays can ill afford to fall any further behind New York.
That's why John Gibbons keeps going to his bullpen to try to get the matchups that he wants to keep this a 4-run game. He knows he's got a couple of players in his lineup that can hit home runs and get you back into this game.
Just off the plate inside. 2-2 now. He got him. Good breaking ball from Loop, second out of the inning. Big strikeout for the Blue Jays. Cabrera strikes out.
His best pitches are the fastball and a changeup. But then he can sweep a breaking ball in there when he needs to, right under the bat of Cabrera, who's been a hot hitter, been on base all 3 times tonight. But Aaron gets him with a good slider.
So now Loop against the lefty Conforto. And Conforto jumps on the first pitch, and that's going to score 1 for sure. Up against the wall, Bautista is going to stop at third as Conforto went after the first pitch and rips a double off the wall in right. Nimmo comes in to score. Bautista ends up at third. Conforto hitting just .231 against lefty pitching. Jumps on that first offering from Loop and plates another Met run.
No need to wait around. That first slider that he threw to Cabrera to strike him out was in a good spot. This one just stayed over the plate, and Conforto said, I'm not waiting around. The first strike I see, I got to let it go. He will pick up the RBI, his 25th of the season.
Wilmer Flores 1 for 3. He goes after the first pitch, a fly ball to center. Pilar waits, and that'll end the inning, but the Mets get another run here in the top of the 7th. An RBI double for Michael Conforto. The Mets lead at 6-1.
This Sunday, when the Yankees come to town, a 1 o'clock start, you can join pregame outside at gates 5 and 10 for inflatables, activities, and a lot of fun. And after the game, as usual, kids 14 and under can run the bases just like the pros and just like Junior Jose.
Junior Jose, I'm sure he's run the bases a few times. Zack Wheeler, just 2 hits over 6 innings. The Blue Jays have managed just 1 run. That was an RBI double by Curtis Granderson. Kevin Palecki takes over. Pawicki taking over for Devin Mesoraco, who has taken a couple of shots to the head. So he's out of the ball game as it's 6-1 in the 7th. Russell Martin has scored the only Blue Jay run. He walked and came around to score in the 5th. .98 pitches thrown by Wheeler, and with that, the Mets bullpen is moving around.
Yeah, he's getting close. He's good for up over 100 when he needs to. His season high was a couple of starts ago when he threw 114 pitches. Anthony Swarzak and Jerry Blevins up. He's also had a game where he's thrown 110 pitches.
Might have been another splitter as Martin strikes out, 1 away in the 7th.
Check out the Beauty Tone Paint event on now through July 3rd, only at Home Hardware. Here's how.
The 100th pitch for Wheeler results in a strikeout of Russell Martin, first out of the bottom of the 7th. And Grichuk has gone down swinging both times he's come to the plate. Oh, and 2.
Struck out last time on a splitter, and that looked like a splitter right there. Zack Wheeler came into this game having the highest strikeout per 9 innings in his career this season. Almost 9 strikeouts per 9 innings. And he's doing it a couple of different ways tonight. His fastball's been really good. He's still throwing 97 miles an hour. A little splitter, curveball. Still looks fresh here in the 7th inning.
Pulled foul. Wheeler hasn't won a game since August 29th. He's 0-5 since that last win. But I'm like you, kind of shake your head and say, what's wrong with this picture? His stuff is very good. I like his delivery too. He's very smooth, more traditional windup, gets his legs involved in the delivery very well. And he's been in the zone all night long.
Yeah. His last win was April the 29th at San Diego.
There's a base hit for Grichuk, and it gets past Bautista. It's going all the way to the wall. Grichuk's headed for third. Willie Rivera will stop him there as Grichuk ends up at third. Got by Bautista. It was a low liner, a one-hopper, and skipped all the way to the wall.
You know, first the really good at bat, the good approach at the plate by Grichuk. As Mickey Callaway comes out, slider down and away, stays right with us, slices it to right field. Bautista comes up quickly to try and catch it on a hop, and then in his haste to get the ball quickly, like he was setting up like he was going to throw, the ball gets by his glove and all the way to the wall, and that sends Grichuk to third base, and it sends Wheeler out of the game.
It'll be an air charge to Bautista, a single for Grichuk. Anthony Swarzak coming into the game. And that will knock Zack Wheeler out of the game and bring in Anthony Swarzak.
This was a big free agent signing by the Mets in the offseason. A 2-year, $14 million contract for Anthony Swarzak. He's only pitched in 13 games this season. He's on the DL with a strained left oblique early this season. He just came off on June the 4th.
That's going to be a run as Gurriel will drive home Grichuk with a ground ball out to the first baseman. Cabrera thought there were 3 outs. He was headed to the dugout. He said, "Oh, that's a nice play. End the inning."
That
Gurriel get an RBI.
That was a really nice play by Dominic Smith because Swarzak was a little bit late getting off the mound, so he wasn't going to be there to flip. So Smith had to hustle over there to record the out. Watch the pitcher hesitate just for a second. See that? And he was going to get beat to the bag by Gurriel, so Smith has to take it himself.
Devin Travis, breaking ball. So Grichuk comes in to score. Gurriel picks up his 9th RBI of the season, but it's still a 6-2 Mets lead. Grichuk had a good at bat his last time up. Had a tough pitch to right field.
That was a heck of an at bat against a tough right-hander.
John Axford loosening up for the Blue Jays. Travis fouls it into the seats.
Swarzak came up with the Twins organization, and I don't remember him throwing this hard. But the reports on him over the last couple of years is that fastball velocity is spiking. He's up into the mid to upper 90s now with that fastball.
Been 5 seasons with the Minnesota Twins. Actually made 32 starts. Last fastball 95 miles an hour. Swarzak has spent time with the Indians, the Yankees, the White Sox, Milwaukee, and now the Mets. Three and 2 to Travis. Granderson on deck. Lays off that breaking ball. I'm sorry, but it's 6-2. You're in the 7th inning. You have the number 9 hitter up, and you throw a 3-2 breaking ball. That makes no sense to me.
Must have a lot of confidence in it, but he misses, and he's going to turn the lineup over now and face Curtis. Granderson is just 5 for 7 with a couple of home runs against Swarzak in his career.
He likes what he sees.
So now it really makes no sense.
And there's another ball. I think what happens to a lot of players, especially players that aren't in a pennant race, you get caught up in your numbers. And you say, well, I don't want to give up anything here, so you throw a 3-2 breaking ball in a 6-2 game. It just doesn't play. You have to understand the strategy of the game. You're trying to win the game. You got the number 9 hitter who's not having a good year offensively.
Evan said he's been seeing a lot of sliders, so maybe the scouting report's been, hey, throw this guy a lot of sliders, but the game didn't dictate and say that you should throw one there. Blue Jays will take it. Now let's see if they can cash in.
Granderson hits it high and deep to right. Stay fair. That's up against the wall. Travis will be stopped at third. Granderson is safely in at second. Hey, you never know. Curtis Granderson with his second double in as many at-bats.
He's feeling pretty comfortable against Anthony Swarzak. He is now 6 for 8. A couple of home runs and now a double, and he just missed that one. He hit it hard, but he didn't get all of it. Fastball inner half, and he takes it right down the line for extra bases. Couple more feet and he's got another home run. But the Blue Jays have a couple of runners in scoring position. Now a big key hit, and they're right back in the game.
Dave Allen out to the mound once again to have a chat with his pitcher. Mickey Callaway in his first season as a manager, a former pitching coach and a good one. His team got out to a 12-2 start, but they have had some hard times lately. They're 33-48. Teoscar Hernandez. Teoscar singled in the 4th inning and then was thrown out trying to stretch it into a double. That was the first out of the inning. Off the plate. Ball on the strike. Got the corner. Little slower breaking ball, more of a curveball that time from Swarzak. Base hit right here. Things get awfully interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. You might have to have that same type of approach that Randall Grichuk had when he singled to right field. Take what they give you. They're going to pitch you away. Think about hitting that ball the other way.
Ball gets away, and here comes Travis. He scores. Granderson is at third. Another breaking ball gets away from the catcher, Plawicki. He just came into the game as the starter, Devin Mesoraco, was taken out.
Sometimes all it takes is a couple of miscues by the defense to open the door. They had the error by Bautista to get the runner to third base, and now a wild pitch gives the Blue Jays another run. Good read by Travis as he breaks on contact when that ball hit the dirt. He takes off, reads it, slides safely.
It's a 6-3 ball game. Granderson now at third with 2 outs. Robert Gesellman loosening up. Travis laid off a 3-2 slider from Anthony Swarzak and drew the 2-out walk. He comes around to score on the wild pitch. Had a pretty good hack at that ball. Stayed up in the zone.
Everything has been down and away this whole at bat. They might try and elevate a fastball just to change things up. You can see on pitch cast, everything is down and away.
Zack Wheeler, the starter. 7 strong innings. That's out of play. Wheeler actually came out of this game after giving up the single to Grichuk. 6 1/3 for Wheeler, just 3 hits. Remember, he hasn't recorded a win since April 29th. Wheeler threw 107 pitches in 6 1/3. Big at bat for the Blue Jays and Teoscar Hernandez. He's 1 for 3 so far. Grounded back. The Blue Jays have lost 2 in a row. They lost the final 2 games to the Tigers in that 4-game series. They are 7-3 in interleague play this year. He laid off. 3-2. Solarte is on deck if Hernandez can reach base. All 4. I got to go back to that 3-2 pitch to Travis. He walked Travis. That kept the inning going. And Mickey Callaway is making a pitching change. So Swarzak gets just 1 out. And that was an RBI ground out to the first baseman. He'll turn things over to Robert Gesellman. 2 outs and 2 on in this 3-1 game. His 38th appearance of the season. He's 5-2. He's second among all major league relievers with those 5 wins.
Yeah, Gesellman was a starter when he was drafted by the Mets out of high school in 2011. In fact, he made 22 starts for the Mets last year, but they have transitioned him into the bullpen. He's been an effective reliever. Sinker, slider, a little bit of a curveball. He throws hard like a lot of those Mets young pitchers.
Upstairs for ball 1. Solarte, he got one center cut fastball and fouled it straight back.
He was looking for that sinker and he got it. And I think he wants it back. Sinker that stayed over the plate. Look where it is. Low, but right down the middle.
That's a strike right at the top of the zone.
That's a great sinker. It's one of his best pitches. He also has a curveball that he throws occasionally.
There it was.
That's that starter's background right there. Being able to throw all those pitches whenever you need to. Solarte celebrating a birthday today. Do something special on your birthday.
Laid out that high pitch. It's 95, but a ball. Anxious inning for the Mets. Solarte has faced Gesellman in the past. He is 2 for 4. He's taking a pretty good swing at that breaking ball.
He's seeing, I think, everything he has right now. He's been on that two-seamer pretty well. He struck out against Wheeler on a breaking ball in the dirt a couple of innings ago.
Fly ball to right. Get up, ball. Get up, ball. Get out of here. Get out. 16th home run of the season for Solarte. His first home run since the 17th of June against the Nationals.
And it looked like it might have been a changeup. He's got a great sinker and a great curveball and a changeup. That's what it looked like when he reached into his glove, and Solarte stayed back on it and hooks it out of here. We are all tied.
Smoke pops it up. Frazier in foul ground makes the catch, but the Blue Jays capitalize. They score 5 runs on 3 hits, 2 walks, and an error by the right fielder. Capped off by this swing, a 3-run home run by Solarte, his 16th of the season. Check out their all-star lineup.
Blue Jays were down 6-1 heading into the 8th inning. They scratched a couple of runs across on an error and a wild pitch, and then Yonervis Solarte takes this pitch from Robert Gesellman, dumps it into the bullpen. 3-run home run ties up this game. Tonight's drive of the game is a big one for Solarte. Told me he's turned 31 today, and he came up with a big one.
Nice birthday present to himself and his 3 young girls. And the Mets, the Mets are having a tough go of it. Expectations were reasonably high for the Mets, and they had a 5-win month of June. So it's 6-6 now, and Blue Jays will go a little bit deeper into their bullpen. John Axford will come out. He will be the 6th reliever to work today, and that's all started because Marco Estrada, the starter, lasted just 1/3 of an inning and left with an injury.
They're carrying 8 relievers, and this is number 6 right here. You got a tough right-handed hitter in Frazier. So John Gibbons goes back to his bullpen. John Axford back into the game.
First pitch strike delivered by Axford. I went too quickly for Axford.
John pitched on Canada Day against the Tigers, an inning and a third. He got 4 outs on 7 pitches.
And he gets it out of here on 3 pitches. 3-pitch strikeout of Todd Frazier. Good way to start for X.
He caught Frazier looking for that breaking ball again and fires the fastball right by him. 0-2. Two-seam fastball right there. Every pitcher the Blue Jays have put out there today have now had at least 1 strikeout.
Petrichka, Gilmet, Meza, Biagini, Loop, and now Axford. Dominic Smith. He's had a pair of doubles so far this evening. Well, that's a good fastball. 97 miles an hour. Axford has had that 96, 97 mile an hour fastball from the first day of spring training.
Absolutely.
He has not lost a mile off his velocity.
What's even more impressive is the movement. That thing was just, they had no chance to hit that one.
You know, everybody is talking about Happ and maybe Estrada, and Pierce has already been traded. To me, this is a very appealing reliever to those teams in contention.
Very interesting because he's closed before. He has set up before. That's pretty good.
A couple of strikeouts to start the 8th.
Super Slow-Mo Cam. Brought to you by Samsung Galaxy S9 and S9 Plus. The camera reimagined. Available now.
John Axford with 2 strikeouts to start the top of the 8th will face the catcher, Kevin Plawicki, who came into the game as the defense replacement in the 7th. Devin Mesoraco was taken out of the game. Another strike fired by Axford.
You know what makes Axford attractive also to teams? He's pitched in the division series with Milwaukee and St. Louis, the league championship series, and a World Series. So he's pitched in the postseason.
It has been a real joy for him to be playing in Toronto, being a native of Ontario, but I think anybody at this point of their career would like an opportunity to get back in a pennant race. Little weak grounded to short. Gurriel takes his time, throws on the run, and that'll do it. 11 pitches for John Axford, a couple of strikeouts. Will go to the bottom of the 8th. It's a 6-6 game. Now time for Blue Jays Central Update. Here's Hazel May and Joe Siddall in the Samsung broadcast studio.
Presented by Honda. The Honda Checkered Flag event is back. Hurry in to grab the Civic that matches your game.
Well, the Blue Jays were down 5-0. And then at one point they were down 6-1, and they scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 7th, and we're tied as the Blue Jays are set to bat in the 8th. It'll be Tim Peterson making his 10th appearance.
Peterson was a draft pick out of UK, University of Kentucky, back in 2012. He's got impressive command. He's got 14 strikeouts and just 2 base on balls in 12 1/3 innings. It's basically fastball, curveball, but he throws them both for strikes. Very good command. First time the Blue Jays have faced Tim Peterson.
Kevin Pillar takes a pitch outside for ball 1. Pillar is 0 for 3 to this point. Pillar got a pretty good pitch to hit, fouled it straight back. And there was Solarte with his team leading 16th home run, tied it up in the bottom of the 7th. Popped up into shallow center, and Nimmo coming quickly and makes a diving catch. First out of the inning. Nice play by the center fielder.
He was playing deep, no doubles defense out in center field. So he had a long way to go to take that hit away from Pillar. It looked like he took it right off the carpet also. Gets a good break. He was the only one who was going to catch it.
First out of the inning.
So one center fielder takes a hit away from the other center fielder with a nice catch. He's made a couple of nice plays out there. He had a backhanded ball on off the bat of Hernandez, Teoscar, and he threw him out at second.
That was back in the 4th inning, and the Blue Jays are trying to get back in the ball game. Russell Martin is 0 for 2 with a walk. Fly ball to right. Bautista waiting for it. 2 down. Peterson is a rookie. He is 27 years old. As Pat mentioned, he was drafted out of the University of Kentucky.
Just 9 games with the Mets so far this season.
Spent most of his year in Las Vegas, AAA for the Mets. Grichuk fouls it up. Randall had a key hit in that 5-run 7th inning, a 1-out single to right. Bautista charged it, came up, looked like he was going to try to throw it, maybe to first or maybe to fake it, but it got under his glove and it went for a 2-base error. Ouch. That one hurt. Grichuk takes one in the back.
Looked like a breaking ball. It was 81 miles an hour. Don't mind that. That one just got away from Peterson. Told you he's got a pretty good breaking ball. Missed that one. Now you're at first base. That's a splitter. You don't mind getting hit with those, especially in a tie ball game in the 8th inning.
Notice Gurriel had an RBI and a ground out his last time up. Grichuk is 2 for 2. He doesn't run a lot, but 2 for 2 in steal attempts. The Mets think he's running here. Gurriel hit a home run against the Angels Thursday back on June 21st, the opener of that 4-game series in Anaheim. It was a very impressive at bat. It was against Eduardo Paredes, and he fouled off several good pitches and hammered a home run over the wall in deep left center.
Yeah, that might have been a 9 or a 10 pitch at bat for Gurriel. Finally picked something he liked and smoked it to left.
Tough pitch right on the inside corner. And home run was his 3rd home run of the season. His RBI back in the 7th, his 9th. Grichuk at first. Swing and a drive deep to left. Get up, ball. Get out of here. Gone. Lourdes Gurriel.
I'm telling you, he's got some thunder in that bat when he learns to hit. He's going to be something special. Looked like another off-speed pitch from Peterson. Maybe that splitter again, and he waited on it, let it break down and in, and he wasn't fooled at all. Solid, and the long ball by the Blue Jays late in the game, helping out again.
2 more home runs, 7th inning or later for the Blue Jays. That's been a theme they have played out all season long. Devin Travis fouls it off.
Yeah, that was the split down and in, and you see how he recognizes it, stays right with it, and hits that ball a long way to left field. His 4th home run of the season. In the Mets bullpen.
The 2 home runs in the 7th inning and now in the 8th inning. 1 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th. The Blue Jays now have 37 home runs hit in the 7th inning or later. Bouncing ball up the middle and gets through for a base hit.
Well, when you can hit home runs late in the game, you're never out of it. It has helped them to come back and now take the lead late into the game. Solarte with the 3-run homer that ties it, and that 2-run home run gives them the lead. Wow. A harmless 2-out hit by a pitch set up that home run.
Back to the top of the order. Curtis Granderson has a pair of doubles. He's walked and flied out. Granderson, as we mentioned earlier, spent 4 seasons with the Mets. He hit 95 home runs while playing in New York with the Mets. 106 doubles. High pop fly to left field. Conforto is there, but the Blue Jays score 5 in the 7th, 2 more in the 8th, thanks to Lourdes Gurriel. His 4th major league home run, a no-doubter to the left. And the Blue Jays have an 8-6 lead as we go to the 9th. teammate Jose Bautista. Stroman coming off his first win of the season. 7 good innings against the Tigers to win that game 3-2. It all starts tomorrow at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific time. That's the pregame show. Ahmed Rosario, John Axford, he came out firing that fastball. 11 pitches to retire the side in order with 2 strikeouts.
He's not messing around. Here's my best pitch, the 2-seam fastball. Let's see what you can do with it.
Ball and a strike now. Blue Jays have a 2-run lead. Number 9 hitter Ahmed Rosario is 0 for 3 with a strikeout. Ground ball. Smoke knocks it down, stays with it. He'll step on the bag. Out number 1. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central. Here's Brendan and Ivanka. World Cup has been very exciting, and that's big news. A defenseman on the open market. Something the Leafs could use.
Yeah, what were you saying the other day?
There's a good fastball. Brandon Nimmo, the center fielder, he's 1 for 3 with a walk. He scored the 6th run for the Mets in the 7th inning. He scored on Michael Conforto's RBI double.
Well, I love what Axford's doing with that fastball. He's challenging these hitters and saying, I'm better with my 2-seamer. He's getting a lot of movement with it.
One and 2 now.
Blue Jays shifting up their defense now with 2 strikes. There's Solarte. He will position himself on the right side of the infield, and Gurriel will play his normal position at shortstop.
Laid out that tough pitch. Nimmo is from Cheyenne, Wyoming. This is his best opportunity. He's played in parts of 16 and 17. Got into 69 games last year. 2-2 pitch. Strike 3 call. No doubt about it. Nimmo couldn't pull the trigger. 3rd strikeout for Axford since coming into the game in the 8th.
When your fastball is moving as much as his is now, you can lock up some lefties. Watch him. He can't pull the trigger. That ball comes right back over the plate. And Axford has 2 outs now.
2 outs. How about Jose Bautista at the plate against Axford? Jose has walked 3 times tonight. The hits are even at 7 apiece. Line drive, Pilar over, and he's not going to get it. Bautista has a 2-out single, and that will bring the tying run to the plate. Kevin Pilar did a good job cutting that ball off, holding Bautista to a single.
He had some thoughts of maybe trying to catch that ball, was going to hang up there. Bautista creates so much backspin when he swings the bat. He's so quick. Pilar thought about it, but then he did the right thing, backed off and played it on a bounce.
Asdrubal Cabrera hit a 2-run home run in the first inning off of Marco Estrada. He has since gone 0 for 1 with a pair of walks. He struck out against Loop in the 7th.
You see Russell Martin wants that fastball up. They must have the reports that he can't get to that fastball. 2 of them right around the letter high fastballs.
Axford is the 7th Blue Jay pitcher to work tonight. Estrada came out with an injury in the first inning. And then Petrichka, Gilmet, Meza, Biagini, Loop, and now Axford. Two and two. It's a full count. So they'll play behind Bautista at first. 2 outs. Michael Conforto is on deck. Cabrera has 15 home runs. Axford has 3 strikeouts in an inning and 2/3. He walked him. So Bautista we've pushed to second. Cabrera has walked 3 times, just like Bautista. And John Gibbons has come out of the Blue Jays dugout. So Axford will turn things over to Tyler Clippard with 2 outs and 2 on. Michael Conforto, the batter. Out. He inherits first and second, 2 outs, and the Blue Jays have an 8-6 lead.
They have used Clippard as the closer with Osuna suspended and Ryan Tepera now on the disabled list. So Clippard trying to close this one out for John Axford.
Clippard is 5 for 9 in save opportunities, and there's another former Blue Jay taking over as a pinch runner at first. Jose Reyes running for Asdrubal Cabrera. Bautista's at second. Michael Conforto had an RBI double in the 7th. First pitch changeup.
Those 10 home runs you see right there from Conforto, third most on this Mets team. Cabrera number 1 with 15. Nimmo number 2, and now Conforto.
Martin wanted that fastball upstairs. It was too high for Conforto's liking. Conforto has hit very well on the road over his last 27 road games. He's hit .293 coming into this game, including 6 home runs. Conforto hits big home runs for the Mets. 32 of his 58 career home runs have either tied the game or given the Mets the lead. 2 outs. Blue Jays trying to take the first of 2 here against the Mets. Ground ball, past Smoke. Clippard is there. That's the ball game. Tyler Clippard picks up his 6th save, and what a comeback for the Blue Jays. They trailed 5-0 early in the game and had a couple of big innings late in the game.
This one looked like it was in the books for the Mets, but the Blue Jays kept fighting back. They took advantage of an error, a wild pitch, and a lot of walks late in the ballgame, and then 2 big home runs by the Jays. One by Solarte and then one by Gurriel to give John Gibbons and the Blue Jays a come-from-behind victory.
Marcus Stroman will go to the hill tomorrow to try to make it 2 in a row against the Mets. Thanks for watching, folks. Have a great night. Stay tuned. Here's Sportsnet Central with Brendan and Ivanka.